to the right place here. Where do I see my live stream? I found it last time. Yep, live now. Ain't crazy. I don't know if I'm Yep, live now. Ain't crazy. Mute that so I don't be crazy. Let me come over here. Live video. Right.
F-A-M-I-L-Y. Can't nobody stop us when we all held high. So go Baba, go Watoto, go yay yay, it's your Earth Day. Black F-A-M-I-L-Y. Can't nobody stop us when we all held high. So go Baba, go Watoto, go yay yay, it's your Earth Day.
Family is African technology. That's something that we have to start acknowledging. Elementary, high school, and college, we have to listen to our spirit, who we following. They say that all we do is fight and kill each other. That's a lie, no, for a fact that we still feel each other. I'm a RBG, rep my colors for life. That mean I look out for my children and I love my wife. That mean I worship my mother and look out for my brother. That mean it hurts to see the BS that we do to each other. Got respect for my elders and they watching me too. So to let me do something for whatever we do. My watch my spirit, we follow we all. They say that all we do is equal, they just look at the stars. We ain't worried about no cracker or the gun that he got. Cause a strong black fam is something that he can't stop.
Black F-A-M-I-L-Y. Can't nobody stop us when we all held high. So go Baba, go Watoto, go yay yay, it's your Earth Day. Black F-A-M-I-L-Y. Can't nobody stop us when we all held high. So go Baba, go Watoto, go go, yay, yay, it's your Earth Day. Black F-A-M-I-L-Y. I give my life for your African, cause we don't die. As I ride on the spiral, looking down on the earth, thinking how we waste our time, we don't know what we worth. It's like enough from the hurt, but mad at the pain. It don't reflect who we are, it's just the way that we train. Got respect for my sister, deep inside we the same. Raising our sons and our daughters to get us back in this game. Try to lift up our people as I lift up myself. My family is my wealth, my family is my health. Even ride for my family, don't got knowledge of self. They know I'm not afraid of crackers, so they call me for help. The black woman is God, and I proved it 5 times. That mean my wound is sacred, and I'm proud of mine. Raised to walk in dignity and never backslide. Watching me and my black king repping black pride. Black F-A-M-I-L-Y. Can't nobody stop us when we all held high. So go Baba, go Watoto, go yay yay, it's your Earth Day. Black F-A-M-I-L-Y. Can't nobody stop us when we all held high. So go Baba, go Watoto, go yay yay, it's your Earth Day.
Let anybody take your mask. Be proud of our heritage. Somebody said earlier tonight, we don't have anything to be ashamed of. Somebody told a lie. They couched it in language. They made everything black, ugly, and evil. Look in your dictionary and see the synonyms of the word black. There's always something degrading and low and sinister. Look at the word white, it's always something pure. I want to get the language so right that everybody here will proud. Yes, I'm black, I'm proud of it. I'm black and beautiful.
Black F-A-M-I-L-Y. Black F-A-M-I-L-Y. Black F-A-M-I-L-Y. Black F-A-M-I-L-Y.
Yes. Peace and power, family. Welcome to the Temple of New Africa. I'm Baba Amin Ojuwo, one of the spiritual leaders of the Temple of New Africa. We're going to broadcast for a few minutes with a powerful message to get you revved up. Okay, cool. I love you too, SD, man. We love you too, man. I'm going to tell you, my wife, your sister, that you said what's up and that you tuned in. We're going to deliver a brief message, but hopefully a powerful message that'll bring unity among us, a powerful message that'll motivate us to support one another, that'll motivate us to support our families better, to be better to ourselves as individuals, and to be proud of ourselves as a people. I don't think that you can get enough of positive and powerful messages that empower us. You know what I'm saying? Messages that push us to be better. Messages that show us our potential. Messages that remind us of who we've been and whose we've been in the past. You know what I'm saying? And so each and every Sunday at the Temple of New Africa, we're going to put out this message. Man, we're currently looking for a location. We're going to grab a physical location, but until we grab our next physical location, we definitely want to get on and make sure we do our part in using the gifts that we have to get positive message and positive energy out there to everybody. I wanted to talk a little bit today about black unity. We tend to throw cliches around and we say black power and black is beautiful and we need to come together. We need black unity. So I wanted to ask a question and maybe offer a little answer this week. What is black unity? What does that mean? Because I've seen people in the past say, and I've been in this for 26 years. Let me preface this right now. I've been involved in the Black Liberation Movement for 26 years. So I'm bringing that experience to the table when I'm talking to you, right? So over those 26 years, right? I've heard, I've seen, I've experienced, I've sat with people, black people, who say, I don't believe in black unity. I'm not with that black unity. I've had people who down to learn the black history, but ain't into the black unity. I met people down to dress black, talk black, put on dashikis and all that, say black power, but not really believe in black unity. So I had to ask myself, what is unity? Like, what are we talking about when we say unite? We need to unite. What are we saying? And what aspect of what we're saying, what aspect scares people into disbelief? Or is it something tangible within the definition of black unity that's turning black people off? Or is it the conditioning to not want to be with each other? The conditioning to not want to do for self, be for self. The conditioning to not want to fool with black folk that we receive in Western society that makes us afraid of black unity. That's my question. Like, is it something in the definition itself that makes it not possible, as some say? Or are we just conditioned? Or is that just the conditioning talking? Right? Because really, can you be unconditioned in 6 months after you read your first black book? Like, are you over the conditioning when you decide to be black power? Like the moment you decide to scream black power, is all the conditioning up to that point to have disdain for black people, to have disdain for black culture, is it gone? Or is it still there? Does it leave as soon as you find out we built the pyramids? Like, does it leave as soon as you read one of Dr. Yosef Ben Yakinen's great books? Does reading that make the conditioning to have a negative feeling towards your own people? Does that just leave? And I'm not saying everybody black has this problem. I can't say that, but I think we can agree and get a consensus that many of us do. I mean, just judge a tree by the fruit that it bears. And I'm not going to start talking about how we're killing each other. Every race killing each other. I'm talking about how we're not building with one another on the scale that we could build with one another. Building businesses together. I'm talking about how we're tolerating like racism in the school system rather than coming together and just building our own schools, pulling our children out of those schools, annexing our communities and taking our tax dollars and using them to finance our schools. Like why people who have a 20% graduation rate in some cities ain't doing that. It's mind-boggling. Why people who are trapped, whose children are trapped in the school to prison pipeline ain't doing that. It's mind-boggling, right? Or how we're the number one consumers in America, yet 13% of the population, but the number one consumers in America. How our dollar circulates the least in our community out of everyone else. How we've been pretty much on a large scale, only race of people to seek to integrate with our former oppressors as aggressively as we have, to the point to where we totally leave our communities behind. Matter of fact, our communities become something to get out of, not something to develop, right? So we get to the point to where we leave, we treat our communities like that's a place you escape. Man, you special. You gonna get out of here. Man, you can make it. Get as far away from here as you can. That's how we talk about our community. That becomes our goal, to get away from the community. So now when you do that, your tax dollars out, you're showing unity to another community. And yeah, you still come back, but the level of unity automatically diminishes because you no longer live there. Does that make sense? So what is black unity? What aspect of black unity scares us? Is it the idea of coming back together physically? Is it the idea of actually building communities together? Is it the idea of moving back into the black community and investing in the black community? Is that what scares people? Or they think that question's coming? Nigga, I ain't never going back to the hood, so don't come talking to me about black unity. Is that where the fear is? Because who says you have to go back to the hood? Look, most black communities are just white communities that black people live in. Most black communities are just white communities, in other words, or Asian communities. In other words, most black communities are communities where 99.9% of the property is owned by white people. We're 99% and or Asian people. We're 99.9% of the economics and politics are controlled by whites and Asian people. So you live there, but you don't necessarily own there. So it's not necessarily a black community. Black people are not doing commerce there on a meaningful level. So it's not a black community. Black people aren't engaged in the political process on a meaningful level. And I'm talking about beyond voting. So is that really a black community? So when you move back into the community you grew up in, it's chances are you're not really moving into a black community. You're moving into a white/Asian community where black people live. Right? Maybe it's the question that, or maybe it's the possibility that in order to exercise black unity, in order to live in a black community, we have to build some. Maybe that's too much work. Maybe that's the part that's scary. That, man, if you're talking about black unity and coming together, maybe we're talking about building black communities from scratch. Is that part scary? Do we not believe that we could do something on that scale? Actually annex predominantly black communities and create towns? Actually migrate to places in the country where we are already the majority, and taking over these places economically, taking over these places politically, with a global eye looking outward to repatriate for those that want to leave this country, to bring people in from other countries, bringing that commerce into the towns that we establish. Some might say, man, you're going to be fighting the state. You're fighting the state now. Some might say you're going to be fighting that system, going to be coming at you. System's coming at you now. Is that the prospect? Is that the part of black unity that makes us afraid? That it'll convict us? It'll convict us and compel us to do for self? Peace born. Peace Raymond Ingraham. Peace Shakti. Is that the part that makes us afraid? I don't think it's that deep for a lot of us. I think for some of us, it's just a disdain for black people. I think for some of us, it's just mistrust amongst each other. I think for some of us, it's just, I don't like black folks like that. I don't think it goes that deep for a lot of us. When you've been raised to get away from black people all your life, and being around black folks means you didn't make it. Still being around black people is a reminder that you failed, or that you're not special, that you didn't make it, right? Then how do you build unity on top of that type of miseducation? How do you build unity, black unity, on top of an anti-black attitude, on anti-black education? Look, like it's even attractive. You even have groups that are attractive, partially because they tell us that we're not black. You have some that are attractive. Like I remember when I first got exposed to the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, right? And I hadn't really got into my African studies yet. I hadn't really got into my African, the study of the history of African people, right? And I remember feeling bigger when they said I wasn't African, I'm Asiatic. I remember feeling bigger because I'm no longer an African. I remember feeling like, wow, yeah, because the Asian is more than an African. Like, now I remember having that. I'm not saying that's the sentiment through which it was taught, but I remember feeling a sense of superiority when I found out I wasn't an African. Because up to that point, Africans were savages to me. Africans were starving babies to me. Up to that point, Africans were not real contributors to civilization. It hadn't locked in yet. I've been exposed to some African studies, but it hadn't really locked in yet to the point to where I didn't still feel something inferior about being an African. You don't have to admit you had that feeling. Don't worry. But I remember that. And I remember being like, wow, we ain't Africans. We Asiatics, right? We ain't African. Look, my Facebook live stream is about to go off. All right, but I'll share the YouTube stream in just a few minutes. All right, I won't be long. So if you was checking out live on here, I'm gonna come right back at you with the YouTube in just a minute. All right. So I remember feeling a sense of superiority because I was Asiatic. I was no longer African. Right? And I remember that, man. I remember meeting my partner Lo, and he was rolling with the black Hebrew, Chaz Ryer, you know what I'm saying? And he wasn't African either. He was a Hebrew. We felt like we was in an elevated place because we wasn't Africans. But not because we were naturally drawn to Hebrew Israelite or to be an Asiatic. It was because we already didn't want to be Africans when the teachings came. See, I'm not taking shots at the belief system. I'm saying we already didn't want to be Africans when the teachings came. So when the teachings came and said you're not an African, our conditioning caused us to automatically convey that that's a good thing that I'm not an African. That's a good thing that I'm not an African. Y'all understand what I'm saying? What's wrong with being an African? I didn't know nothing about Africanus and Africa wasn't a real name of Africa and all that. I ain't know none of that. I knew that I was being told that I was an Asiatic, not an African. And I felt in that moment that I had been promoted in the human family. That I had been promoted from Africanness, right, to Asiaticness. It felt like a promotion. Why? Why? What does this have to do with black unity? Because black is also seen as a social status. The term black is also seen as a social status. And that means when you black, you on the bottom ladder, the bottom rung of society. Black in Western civilization means dirty, evil, sullen, depressing. It was a black day. So when we call ourselves black and we still subscribe to the Western civilization definition of black, then you say we need black unity. I'm black, but you haven't detached yourself mentally from the Western definition of what black is. Then a teacher can come to you and say, you're not black. You don't even have to have done the research. It comes to you and they say, you're not black. And you say, whoa, I feel like I just got a what? A promotion. I feel like I just got a promotion. I'm no longer black. Why is that attractive to you? Because they dropped some deep science on you? No, it's attractive to you because you didn't want to be black before they came. It's attractive because I'm not arguing the merits of what they're saying. I'm talking about the attractiveness of what they're saying when they say we're not black, when they tell you not African. Why is that attractive? You don't even need to go deep. Most of us don't even question. We don't even go and say, prove to me that I'm not African. Prove to me. We hear it and we feel like we got a promotion. Why does it feel like we got a promotion? When they say you're not black, don't call me black. I'm not black. Why does that feel like a promotion? Because we're ascribing now to Eastern type philosophies from the East, from the Asiatics and the Moors and Hebrews. We're subscribing to the spiritual systems, but we're still holding on to Western definitions. We're still holding on to the devil's definition of certain terms. So while you may be arguing with him over who's the chosen people, white boy say he the chosen, white Jew say he the chosen people, black Hebrews say they the chosen people, they do agree on one thing, the inferiority of African people and African culture and the paganism of African spiritual systems. You still agree with your oppressor, your tormentor, your enemy on one key factor, that those people are living along the equator, are somehow detached from the Creator, are somehow not a part of the spiritual picture, are not a part of the divinity picture, that they had nothing to do with mankind's walk with the Creator when the opposite is what's true. And most of us don't investigate. Once they tell you ain't black no more, it felt good not to be black. You've been trying not to be black for a long ass time. So now you found a way to be black and be pro-black at the same time. Now you found a way to be black and to be in the movement at the same time. But I ain't black. I'm not black, but I'm in the movement. I'm for our people, but we ain't black. Part of what we got to realize, we ain't black, we ain't African. Why the necessity to elevate above those terms? If it's the history of those terms, or history is subjective, we can look at the history of Africa and we can find that the continent was not named after Leo Africanus, but that the term Afrika was on the walls of Kemet in ancient times. Afrika, which meant literally the mother of all, or motherland. Afrika. Get mad at me. I didn't do it. We can look at the history of African people and we can find that the first references to any deity above ourselves was in deep Africa, not just in Kemet. It didn't begin in Kemet. Kemet was born out of other civilizations to the south. The Kemetic people tell you that, or what y'all want to call the Egyptians. I know the Bible makes the Egyptians look bad, but Kemetic history goes back. The first dynasty was established around 3100 BC. It wasn't no Bible then. Kemetic people is older than the Bible. Nubians are older than the Bible. That's just a fact. But the spirituality that's in the Bible, that's older than the Bible too, because those Nubians, those Cushites, right, those early peoples, the people from the land of Taseti, they developed those spiritual systems. They developed those universal laws from studying nature. From studying nature. See, religion comes from science. But we ain't gonna get into that. But when I look in the history of an African and I really learn it, then I turned around and I asked myself, why is it better to be an Asiatic? I know Africa's not named after a colonizer anymore. I know that Africans walk with the Creator first. I know they're the first to talk about the experience. I know now that I'm spiritual because my ancestors were spiritual. Spirituality wasn't something that Europeans heaped upon me. I know this now, and the only people to leave ancient evidence, right? No, everybody left a little evidence, but ain't nobody left evidence of their divinity and their power like African people all over the continent. No one has word of mouth stories that compare to the oral tradition in Africa all over. I'm talking about thousands of nation states. I'm not talking about the 56 countries we've been trained to just look at. The oral history, the history with their art and the artifacts and how they build their homes, their skills. Oh, man, they kept it alive for us. When I learned about the Dogon, I said, okay, look, hey, man, look. I didn't get a promotion when I called myself Asiatic rather than African. That wasn't a promotion. I only thought that was a promotion because of what I knew about that continent up to that time. So I started pursuing a more African-centered way of righteousness, a more African-centered path of spirituality. You know what I'm saying? A path to discipline. And I said, well, I'm not going to call myself Asiatic, even though the original Asiatics were Africans. The original Asiatics were Africans. The original Moors were African people, right? But I'm not going to disassociate myself with the source. I'm going to go ahead and stick with the source material. Just a choice, a decision that I made. Same with the word black. I started looking at it. Said, okay, well, black is not a color. Black is the source of our color. Well, we are the source of our people. Our ancestors are the source of our people. We are the phenotype of the first people on the planet. We are source people. People are still being brought forward from us, not just African people. People are being saved with your organs. People are being fertilized with your melanin. People are being fertilized with the substance that come out of your body. You're still populating the planet. You're still sustaining this planet biologically and physiologically. So you are still a source material. You the black people. Melanin, carbon is black. You the black people. Source people. And when I saw that Kemet was named land of the blacks or land of the black people, even thousands of years ago, our ancestors pointed out that they were the source people, the black people, the melanated people. Ooh, being black don't sound so bad. So what that my open enemy ranks me last on the social ladder? Strategically, he has to do that. He don't want me to understand what black is. If I understood the power of blackness, the true power of blackness, and why it may be the enemy of whiteness, then I would understand my true power. Black power ain't just about this. You the source people. Now, I don't try to convert Asiatics to be Africans or Hebrews to be Africans, and that not into that debate at all, because you're all of that. We are the original Hebrew Israelites. That's a fact. We are the Moors. That's a fact. We are the Asiatics. That's the fact. That's a fact. We the first Europeans. We the first Americans. We the first people everywhere. That's been proven. So kill the debate over who we are. It's all good, man. But the continued disdain of the term black. So you took Hebrew and you redefined Hebrew. You took Muslim and you redefined Muslim. You redefined what it was. You took one thing I love about the teaching of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, they took ownership. One thing I love about the Moorish Science Temple, Noble Drew Ali, they took ownership of Islam. They took ownership of Islam. They rewrote it. They say this is ours now. God came in the person of Master Muhammad. This is ours now. Moorish Science Temple, we write scripture. They gonna write the scripture. This is ours. They took ownership. I respect that. Black Hebrews took ownership of it. I respect that. Right? Respect Africa then. Respect black people. People who choose to redefine black, to redefine Africa, redefine African spiritual systems, redefine what it means to be an African based on archaeological evidence. Respect that too. Learn that story too. Because when you say that you come from the first people, most of the proof is in Africa. So what's black unity? What's black unity? Black unity, first and foremost, is recognizing that we have the power to redefine what black is. Being unified in a definition. Being unified in what it symbolizes and creating mediums and media to show our definition of blackness. Owning it. Recreating it. With truth. With the proof. Black power. Right? So what's black unity? See, some people might be scared. They think that black unity is being best friends. That's not what black unity is. That I got to get along with everybody. Black unity is a unified mission, a unified purpose, where we work together, where we unite in areas of common interest first. Where we unite in areas of common interest. Where we look at our situation as a people because we have a unique situation as a people. And we come together based on what's best for that unique situation. Our unique culture, because our culture is our contribution to the human family. But we're being robbed of opportunities to really, really express our culture and help the human family progress. See, when Africans don't control Africa, that means Africans can't be Africans. That means the African can't evolve. The African must devolve. The African must deviate from what the ancestors and the Creator has put the African here to do. They must deviate from that in order to survive because they don't control the land that they walk on. It stunts their growth. When your growth is stunted, your contribution is stunted. And you'll be hard pressed to find a people whose growth and development has been stunted as much as African people across the globe. So what's black unity? Black unity is recognizing that in order to be free, we have to be us. In order to be free, we have to be free to be us. We have to be free to be who we are. We have to be sovereign. We don't have to be best friends, but we have to be sovereign. Black unity is tolerance for one another. You know, the kind we practice every day towards other cultures. When you walk into the Arab store, the Asian store on your block, they don't have the same religion you have. They don't eat the same food you eat. They barely speak the language that you speak, and they don't live in the community you live in. But they provide you with a service. They provide you with a store. They have a market in your community where you can go buy goods without having to drive outside of your community. You're providing them with money and sustenance with which they make other investments and raise their families and go back into their communities and circulate a fresh dollar that's not generated in their community. It's called a surplus. In return, you get to not have to drive far to the store. But when you walk in there, even if you don't like the Asian, even if you say, oh, yeah, Asians, we're going to get these Asians up out our community. Oh, Arabs, they got to get up out our community. As soon as you get up there and he say that'll be $3.57, and you hand him the $5 and get your change, y'all just exercise unity and tolerance. Not only did you exercise unity, you exercise love. Because it's a great act of love for you to give me your hard-earned dollars in exchange for anything so I can go home and feed my family. And when you come every day, when you come consistently every day, once a week, twice a week, that's really love. I mean, I know your homeboy you walk to the store with, you like, yeah, that's my partner. I love him like a brother. I know you love your boo thing because y'all go to the movies together, things like that. But man, the only love that Arab wants for you is the love of being loyal and committed to coming to that store. The only love that the Galleria wants for you, woman who got to have 500 purses and got to have the Louis and the Gucci, brother who got to, the only love the mall wants from you is the kind of love you give them for providing you with Jordans. That's your money. And that's love. They don't care if you're faithful. They don't care about your character. They're not interested in being friends with you. They just want unity with you. Economic unity. They want a commitment from you to buy their products as long as they sell them for whatever price they sell them for. That's the type of unity they want. And you walk in, we walk in, and even when the price is too high, we get mad, but we pay it. Matter of fact, they got us to the point where they say, hey, the higher the price, the higher the value. And if you really want to show people that you're successful, you'll be willing to pay this for this. Don't never mind it cost me $6 to make it, because it's of this and everyone likes this. If you pay $1,500 for this, that means you made it. If you pay $1,500 for this product that costs $8 to make, you made it. And that's unity. So when we say we don't believe in black unity, I can't get with black unity. You definitely get with unity, though. Economic unity, spiritual unity. I remember one time I spoke in the church and I told them that Jesus wasn't white. And I told them that white picture they had of Jesus wasn't Jesus. The assistant pastor got them to quit the church. Walked out. How dare you let him come up here and tell us that Jesus ain't white? He's unified. A lot of our churches, they pay dues to be in these big spiritual organizations along with white churches, and they just paying them, getting taxed out the game. But they exercise that unity with that white church counterpart, they white church brother. But the church across the street, just because you First Baptist and they AME, y'all won't do a bake sale together. Y'all won't do a youth rally together. Y'all won't open a store together. Y'all won't buy land together. Y'all won't do anything together. But you'll go to another white boy that call himself a Baptist that hate black people and say, you my brother in Christ. You'll go to a white church that teaches that we come from the son of Ham, that to be black is a curse. You feel like you got a promotion when they invite you to their big white church. You feel you got a promotion when he lets you sit up there close to his pulpit. But let pastor across the street at the AME church invite you over, or the Kojic church say, man, we need spiritual unity in our community. The same unity that we show others outside our community, let's just show that to each other. That's it. We look at that like that's just not doable. The same unit. I'm not talking about we ain't even got to go all the way to where we need to go. Let's just start by showing the same unity to each other that we show to everybody else. The same commitment to each other that we show to everybody else. When they started Facebook, it didn't have all these features. YouTube didn't have all these features. We stuck with them though. We stuck with them till they got good. I remember when the internet was slow, we stuck with it though until it got good. Boy, but when an African business has to start slow, when an African business or a black-owned business can't start with all the bells and whistles, you don't want that kind of unity. But we'll wait on Zuckerberg to get video chat. We'll wait on them. We'll wait on YouTube to get YouTube Red. We'll wait on them. We'll wait on all these other platforms to get what we want. We'll wait on Instagram and that sort of thing. And I'm not trying to make you feel guilty for supporting them. I use them too. But are we raising a cadre of children to take it over? Where are our black app developers? Are we giving them the shine? I know there are black social media sites out there. It's been more since Black Planet, y'all. I've seen them start. I've tried to go and be loyal to them and then falling off. Black unity ain't easy, but it's something that has to happen. We're not going to be good for anybody else. Now, I know some of us try to skip grades. We say, I just fight oppression. I'm just go out here and I'm going to fight against oppression. And I'll partner with anybody if they fight against oppression. I'm for that too. Do your thing. Do your thing. But even you gonna need a strong black community to support you when the revolution go down. Even you gonna need a unified black front, a united black front. Even you gonna need it, Rainbow Revolutionary. Even you gonna need a united black front to support you in your efforts. Even you. Hell, I want to see the whole human family healed. I want to see the end of oppression wherever it exists. But I believe when you free black people, though, you free the world. If the world decides that it wants to see Africa free, if the world decides that it wants to see Africa for Africans, if the world decides that, now we talking. As an African, I ain't trying to fight for everybody, but I do believe everybody should be fighting for Africa. But I can't control that part. I can control this part. Where we learn how to unify based on our common interests first, our common goals first. We need physical unity. We got to stop abusing one another in our interpersonal relationships. I'm not talking stop the killing. Of course you say stop the killing, but y'all, to be the first race in the world to not kill each other, come on. That's not what we're talking about when we talk black unity, though. When you have black unity, cultural cohesion, though, you place a higher value on the next black person's life. Just like it was attractive to be, you'd rather be an Asiatic than black. You'd rather be Hebrew than black because you don't want to be black. You don't like blacks. You don't like blacks. So it's easier to hurt somebody black. It's easier to blame somebody black. It's easier to justify bringing pain to somebody black because you hold the same definition of blackness that your enemy holds. You have the same definition. So some of us even come into the movement, and because we become aware enough to be in the movement, we think we love black people. That's a new skill within itself. To get out of that conditioning is a skill within itself. That's what the study is for, but that's also what the service is for. We have to serve our communities. We have to serve our people. When we grasp this knowledge of self, we have to create avenues to which we serve our people, not to a point to your own detriment. Not to your own detriment, but we have to make concerted commitments where we are to come around one another and do projects together, redefine friendship with one another. You will be a bigger friend with Walmart than you will with my business today. You'll give more to the system that's hurting us than you'll give to the Uhuru Academy. today. We're attempting to build a system that's going to help us, empower us. But we understand that the distrust is there by default. It's not there because we've done something wrong. It's there by default. So I be tripping because I've been doing this for 26 years. I've helped countless Africans rediscover themselves and learn more about self. I started an African Center School 7 years ago that's still standing. Started a co-founded Rites of Passage program 26 years ago. Been teaching the history in the hood my whole adult life. And all it takes is a whisper that I'm shady to touch off a controversy. For someone to say, see, somebody ain't never met you. See, all these niggas is shady. Where does that come from? When did the Black Power movement rob the black community? I'll wait. When was the great Black Power movement robbery? I'll wait. Hasn't happened. But we're preconditioned. We're programmed with a definition of blackness, with a definition of African. It says distrust, don't join, run away from it. And I'm saying even if you don't claim it, you don't have to disdain it. If you still disdain it, then you still programmed to hate self. Because even if you ain't an African Israelite, you're an African's cousin. Even if you ain't a black person, you're a black person's cousin. You're more related to a black person than you are to a European. You're more related to a Negroid phenotype, a brother teaching Ifa in Ghana, than you are related to that European Jew in Israel, black Hebrew Israelite. You're more related to that voodoo lady in Jamaica with the dolls and doing the rituals than you're related to that Christian Baptist, black Christian, that white Christian Baptist, black Christian. You have more in common culturally, spiritually, and physically. So while you don't have to change, you have to be that, you got to pull the evil up off of that and put the divinity on that and take the divinity off that white shit and put the evil on that where it belongs. That's black unity. That's where it begins. A lot of the fighting will stop if we truly saw our divinity. I'm not saying all of the fighting will stop. That's gonna be there. Stop being ashamed because we fight and we fuss and we get into it. Everyone does that. We only add extra shame on it because we're ashamed to be black. We're ashamed of who we are. I'm about to end this and let me tell you who you are. You are the fathers and mothers of civilization. Black man and black woman. African. Let me tell you who you are. You are the prototype of humanity. African. You are the mothers and fathers of civilization. You are the first to chart the stars. You are the first to harness power and electricity. You are the first to carve, to write, to speak. You are the first to do that. And you're not just the first, you're going to be the last. And you're still the best at all of it. You still, even those who have suppressed you have not surpassed you in your civilization, in your civility. Even those who have suppressed you have not surpassed you in your mathematical acumen, in your scientific acumen, in your spiritual connection to the Creator. Even those who suppress you have not surpassed you. My grandmama had more spirituality in her pinky than the Pope got in his whole body. Even those who have suppressed you have not surpassed you. They only sit where they sit because you allow it, because we haven't woken up the self, because at the end of the day, we still feel inferior. We feel we have to escape something in order to be something. Instead of taking it, owning it, redefining it, and let our work and what we build define what we are. Let the images we put out there define what we are. Nobody else. Nobody else. Us. Beautiful. You're powerful. This world needs you. You have something to offer this world. We have something to offer this world. Am I talking about everybody? Yeah, I have to, because I don't know who is and who ain't. So yeah, I'm talking to everybody. So when we say black unity, that's what we mean. Before we can achieve any of it, you have to first be proud to be black. Take ownership of it. Be proud to be Africans. Take ownership of it. If you don't like those terms, it doesn't mean that those terms are your enemies. Learn to work together on those things that we have in common. It's black unity. If a Moor ran the store rather than an Arab, I support the Moors. Get some stores. The Hebrew had the laundromat rather than that little Asian lady. I support that laundromat. Hebrew, get some laundromat. If the black Muslim owned the bank on the corner, I'd be in that bank. Black Muslims, we need some banks. The RBG providing fresh food and vegetables to the community. They run the community garden, the farm. Then I'm going to support the RBG farm because I need fresh fruits and vegetables. But right now we look at the RBG with the fresh fruits and vegetables and we say, I can't stand him. He think he's black. He don't know his status. And then we go to Walmart and buy something from the Waltons who hate both of us. All right. So that's what I'm talking about today. Okay. Now, support the Uhuru Academy. I need y'all. I need y'all. Okay. Our school needs you. Go to uhuruacademy.com/donate and donate what you can. We need $100 donation. We need a $500 donation. We need a $50 donation. But we're working. It's not something we're working. All right. We just finished our 7th year. We're going into another building. I'm looking for another building right now. We need all the support we can get. The Temple of New Africa. We need members, y'all. We need y'all to become a part and support the spiritual mission as well. Okay, man, we need y'all. We have RBG Family Weekend coming up, August 18th, 19th, and 20th. The RBG Awards on that Friday. The RBG workout that early morning on Saturday. Then the RBG Youth Rally at Alethea Temple early Saturday. Then the RBG Cookout Concert Saturday night. Then the Temple of New Africa at Del Shans on Sunday. A lot of organizing has gone into this. A lot of relationship building. It goes into organizing, bringing people in from outside of our city, serving you, providing you with food, and providing you with a black experience, a powerful black experience. We say black love is black power. We want to see everybody at RBG Weekend. I'll be posting the flyers. We need y'all to share that and get engaged and get involved. And you don't have to be an RBG to do it because we righteously bridging gaps over here. Come on, black Hebrew. Come on, black Muslim. Come on, black Christian. Come on, Rasta. Come on, Ifa. Come on, Yoruba. Let's go. This is RBG Family Weekend. The spirit of the red, the black, and the green. We need y'all to come out for that. All right. We also have the adult African history class going on right now. Go to uhuruacademy.com right here on your screen to check out the adult African history class. A lot of us are joining movements and we don't know the story. Be real. If you haven't studied our history as a people, please do not jump into these movements because you don't have proper context, right? So go check us out at uhuruacademy.com, the adult African history class, and sign up and register. There is a tuition, but so is TCC. They ain't no better than me. So is UTA. They ain't no better than me. You ain't gonna get this. You can get at UTA with Dr. Sufisha Hill, but you ain't gonna get this nowhere else. And it's online and it's powerful. The adult African history class at uhuruacademy.com. If you don't have a high school diploma, Operation Reconnect. We've been graduating young youth and adults for the past 7 years at an alarming clip. We started a Texas high school diploma revolution. Go to uhuruacademy.com and check out Operation Reconnect. Ain't no reason for nobody out there to have a high school diploma. And again, support the Uhuru Academy, our prep academy, pre-K through 12th grade at uhuruacademy.com/donate. We need that stream to come in. If it wasn't, and I'm gonna tell y'all something, people been giving for the past 7 years. And if it hasn't been for the benevolence of black people, we wouldn't be here right now. But y'all, it's time to step it up. Because in order for us to take this thing to the next level, we have to take ourselves to the next level. So it's time to step it up and start pouring it in because we about to buy us a campus. Shout out to Moorish Synergy Radio, KOTF Urban Fire. Just became a partner in this online radio and television station. Partnering with the Uhuru Academy to develop a media arts program for our babies. We need a facility. I'm talking about sound stage and I'm talking video editing. I'm talking radio production, the whole 9 yards. We don't just want to put the station out there to entertain you. We want to teach our children how to do it as well. It's time to step it up. I want to say asante sana to everyone who has supported us over the years. It's literally thousands of you. And I want to say asante sana for doing it. We are humble and we only pray that our work matches your dedication. If you want to know where it's happening, if you want to know where positive things are going down within our movement, look no further than Fort Worth, Texas, August 18th through the 20th. Shout out to the Black Power Awards, one of our sponsors in Atlanta, my brother Dwayne Jordan, DJ. Shout out to RBG Nation, all my comrades across the country. Shout out to everybody in the Black family. Everybody, my family here in Fort Worth. Y'all, ain't talking about what's going to happen. We talking about what's happening. Let's get it. This has been the Temple of New Africa. I hope you got something from this message. Peace. Black.